Well, here we are live today on YouTube. It is XFL Uniform Reveal Day. Welcome, everybody. It is very exciting, getting underway here. Going to have Thomas Grady joining us here in a minute from Game Plan Creative. He's one of their design experts over there, the chief, what is his exact title? Executive Creative Director with Game Plan Creative. Thomas is going to be joining me here in a little bit. We're going to be talking to you, not USFL, XFL uniforms here as we get ready today. I am a wedding videographer. We had our annual Christmas party last night. A little slow moving today, but we're getting here today. We are excited. I have my XFL yet to be released XFL Sea Dragons hat here that was given away over the weekend at the Sea Dragons event that we had here at U Village. And then I have my XFL 2020 jersey on today. So we'll see what comes today. Yeah, Noah, we're getting there. Give him a second to set up. 11:45 on the dot. I hit it live. We're ready to go. And so I think what we're going to be able to do, Thomas is going to join us here. We're going to go through some of the teases and stuff before we get ready. I don't know at what point in Sports Center this is going to be today. I should be able to show it here. That is my goal. So if you're worried about that, I have my eye on that. We'll be able to stream it in here. We have comments here. Leave your comments. But yeah, I think we'll be able to show it here. Obviously, you can watch it on Sports Center. I'm not going to like stream the whole thing because I don't want to get too much copyright, but I think we can show the 30 seconds or whatever of the uniform reveal and all that stuff. But anyway, so leave your comments here. We're going to go through some of the tease stuff. And who are you excited to see? What uniforms? We have Jenna here. Good morning from Southern California. That is very exciting. We have Brandon here saying, let's go. Really exciting day. I think this is kind of the last big hurdle, right? I mean, we have the schedule that's going to be coming out. We have the rule books and all that stuff. But I think this is one of the last big, big days to do this. Glad we could do it live. How am I sounding? Am I sounding okay? I'm hearing a little bit on my mic, but I think it's okay. I think that it's just my computer talking back to me. See, baby blue. We're getting ready. Where is my? Here we go. Getting ready. We have the official uniform reveal today. I thought it was funny when I tweeted last night. Well, back at the Vegas Stadium, that will be exciting. I thought it was funny last night. We had some people comment, like Kenny, one of our listeners. Are you sure this is happening today? I said yes. I'm pretty sure. I see Tom is in the dashboard, whatever we call it here. I'm going to bring Tom on here. Tom from Gameplay Creative. Tom, how are you doing, sir? Can you hear me? Okay.
Good. How are you today?
I'm good. I can. You sound great. I was explaining, we had our annual wedding photographer, videographer Christmas party last night. So I'm a little slow moving today. That's what I do for my real job. How are you doing, Tom? Why don't you tell everybody who you are and why you are a good person to have on today to talk through all this stuff?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm Tom O'Grady. I was the NBA's first creative director. So you'll know me a lot more from my basketball experience. I designed the Raptors, the Grizzlies, the Sonics, many of the NBA team redesigns during the 90s. I was kind of the mastermind behind the sublimation craze during the 90s, including the Suns, streaking sun uniform, things like that. I worked on a couple football projects. I worked with John Bon Jovi on the Arena Football League Philadelphia Soul Identity, which was a great project. And I worked on a Redskins rebrand that almost happened back in 2005 with Daniel Snyder, the infamous now Daniel Snyder. So I follow this very closely. Game Plan Creative has been in business for 20 years. We do a lot of sports branding. We do a lot of animation work. So we do all the Major League Baseball jewel events like the All-Star Game animations and the World Series animations and the postseason animations for MLB, not for the teams. But that's quite a bit of work. And we did the Elite Football League of India. So if anybody's ever seen the Elite Football League of India, that was all the work that we did, and we won some awards for that. So we have quite a diverse background, but heavy duty in sports. So I feel real comfortable speaking to a lot of these subjects. I've been both a positive influence, I think, in this industry, and sometimes a critique on some of the things I see, because there's a lot of things happening in the industry that's kind of gone backwards. I think things have gotten a little bit too simple, and I think a lot of followers feel the same way. So I'm curious to see what the XFL will do. I was always a big fan of He Hate Me, so I've got that background, and I actually know Bruce Burke, who was the creative director at the NFL who did all the XFL jerseys for the first year, the Memphis Maniacs, some of those teams. So I'm pretty well grounded in all this stuff. And so I can see you're from Seattle, so I can see the Kraken piece behind you, and yes, beautiful, and the Dragons, which is now the Sea Dragons. Maybe I'll send something your way. We pitched the Seattle hockey team on a team named Sea Dragons, which was kind of interesting. I've got a logo from that. That's pretty cool. So yeah. So anyway, my team logo and uniform roots run deep, and I'm really happy you invited me. So thanks.
Well, I couldn't thank you enough. Yeah, Max reached out because this all came down yesterday. Here, I had just recorded coming up Friday on the episode that we normally post. I have an interview with ESPN's Kevin Seifert, and he was filling me in. We have some info, other news that's coming out this week. So I'm so excited. I got the insights with Kevin. We're going to post that, and then I step off the interview with that. Oh my God, here are the uniforms are coming. So we're doing that. Max said I should reach out to you. I appreciate that. Like I said, we should be able to show it here. God knows. I hope it's not going to be at the 9:55 or whatever hour here of Sports Center. We'll get it on. We'll talk through it. We have some uniform teases here we can talk through as well, but should be exciting. Like I said, Andy Murray is going to come on the show Friday. We're going to do recap, whatever today is. Tom will be with us today. I have the interview with Kevin Seifert, and then I just found out we're going to have Ben DiNucci, presumably the starting quarterback for the Sea Dragons, interviewing with him later today for the show on Friday as well. So, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Should be a good one. Tom, so when we're looking at this today, we're coming back. We have a lot of fans of 2020, right? That's why we paid. That's why they paid the $15 million plus everything to do that. What are your thoughts now? We're making the new league. How do you approach that? Where we're trying to maybe keep a little bit of the old semblance of it, but then put our own spin on it. How do you approach that as a designer?
Well, we when it comes to expansion teams, we've always had this philosophy. It only happens first once. So it's really important to try to get it right the first time you do it. So teams like the Raptors and the Grizzlies, you have to pour your heart and soul into it to make sure you hit every touch point possible when you're designing a new identity. I think that the XFL, I think that they're going in the right direction by kind of moving more and more away from the original teams back in that first pass, because ultimately those fans have kind of maybe passed on and not focused on it anymore. It's not like the Cleveland Browns, who were incubating on a brand that they were going to hold and they were going to get when they came back, or even when the Charlotte Hornets came back to Charlotte. So I don't think there's this enormous brand allegiance to the team. So if they're pushing the envelope here and doing some new things that are provocative and feel different than the NFL, for instance, or college football, I think that's the path they should take. They should do some things that are somewhat eye-popping and somewhat, unusual, but still feel very football-y. I think that's important. And as long as they stay within the parameters of a good football uniform, which I believe is big numbers, right? You should be able to see the numbers from a mile, and contrasting uniforms, right? So you want to make sure you have, teams that contrast together. Helmet's the center core of a team identity for football, right? So like a baseball cap is for baseball, the football helmet is pretty much, I think, 80% of the team identity. So if you get the helmet right, the uniform should follow. So I'm really curious to see what they do with the helmets today, because I think that's the center identifier for a brand in the NFL.
It's funny. You had mentioned working on the Redskins rebrand. I'm actually a Commanders fan, even though I live in Seattle and kind of part of the whole Taylor Heineke and all that stuff. But it is funny. I think Kyle Brandt was just on Good Morning Football the other day talking about, because the Commanders kind of on a hot streak and they have those, like their new alt black jersey. And he said, like, it almost looks like an XFL uniform. Like it's a dig. Like it's almost used to kind of make fun of maybe some of these NFL uniforms that are a little more outlandish.
Yes,
I mean, what do you buy into that people kind of look at, it feels more like an XFL, not like a real football league.
I have very strong feelings that the Redskins definitely should have changed their name, but not changed the style of their uniforms. They should have kept that big, bold burgundy and yellow. I don't think the black fits in the large quantities, maybe small quantities. But when you look back at the history of all those guys, Theismann and Riggins and the Hogs and all that, I think when you start to get too far away from what you were, I think it hurts you. It takes a long time to restart your brand. And so if they could have just come up with a name like the Warriors or something like that and stayed within the zip code of what they were before, they'd have been better off. I don't know what you think, being a fan of the Commanders, but it just seems like a little too generic for what Washington football is to me, and so I think they kind of lost their way there a little bit, personally.
Yeah, I would have kept the football team. I thought Washington football team was great. I really
Good,
liked that. I thought that
good.
that was different on that.
Yeah,
We have Felton here. A lot of people checking in. I thought it was funny. They posted all these. I keep scrolling all these teaser images on,
yeah.
on Twitter. So I had went. All that came out. Like I said, I went to the party last night. Came home and I saw all these comments. People saying, "Oh my God, all these uniforms are black and white," like not realizing that these were all like a filter to kind of hide that in. But I tweeted, I said, I never knew that was a thing that people would actually mistake, and that all these. But you do get some cool design things like this camo kind of oil slick here. If you see, I'm kind of showing. I mean, I think some of these, I like that they're doing this. I mean, it was only the night before, but it is cool to see.
Take
Um,
take
you
some
know,
risks. They're taking some risks. You can see it already, right? Like that, you can see that they're taking some risks just from these black and white photos. That they're doing non-conventional football uniforms. I can feel it a mile away, which is great. That's what they should do. You got to catch attention to something that's fighting the big guy, called the NFL. So whatever they can do to accelerate awareness. That's what we did with the Raptors. That was a bizarre name with whacked out uniforms, right? We were competing against the Maple Leafs. Hockey in Canada is like religion, and the Blue Jays had won 2 World Series back to back just before that. So we had to do something that was provocative, not dull or predictable. And I think that's what I would do if I was The Rock. I would do things that are just not maybe expected, and yet stay with conform within the lines of a football jersey and uniform, but push the envelope. Why not? You don't have a lot of heritage. You're not taking the Redskins and turning them into Commanders. You're not really. I took a lot of flack when the Pistons changed their uniforms from the bad boys to the teal uniforms back in the mid '90s. A lot of people hated that. You talk about a polarizing change. Now people love that teal Pistons uniform. So I think you're in the business of sports entertainment, right? This is not. We used to say we're not saving lives, we're saving logos. So when it's all said and done, the more interesting and provocative you could be without looking silly, I think the better off it is.
Well, especially where I don't know. I think the USFL, and I don't know how well you track that in the spring, where they wanted to really have the allegiance to the the 1980s. They really wanted it to look like that. We're reusing the
Yes,
brands, and obviously they were going through the lawsuit stuff. That's all settled now, but they didn't want to go too out of the box, and I get that because we want the Breakers to kind of look like it was back in Portland or
sure,
whatever.
sure.
Where like you said, if I'm the XFL, I would go a little bit more outlandish. I think people are already expecting, the XFL has its history. We know The Rock. We kind of, he was just in Black Adam, biggest movie in the world right now. Like, I
Yeah.
think we're expecting a little bit more of that. Does that kind of gel with what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that they did that when they first did the XFL back when Vince McMahon was overseeing it. I thought that they did some pretty unusual things. Like I said, the Memphis Maniacs and some of those brands that they did were nothing like the NFL. They didn't look like, the NFL. And I think that worked for them. And I think they had a fun little run while they could. I remember like the Vegas team had this like brownish uniform and you could see the seams in the design. Like it wasn't brown seams on a brown jersey. It was like white seams on a brown jersey. And I thought, oh, that's a very classy way to do something that's unexpected, and to have kind of wacky names, like I'm a big NBA fan. So I remember like the ABA days and the Elvin Hayes when he just had the E on the back of his jersey with 11, it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that would be fun to be done here because you should get people to talk about it's a way to talk about your brand without looking too much at the quality of the football. That's one of the dangers of a league that's not the NFL is like the quality of the play would be a little less than the big league, but things that you could do that are clever around it, I think are smart, very smart.
We're getting a lot of comments here. Guys, I don't know if this is happening right off the top. So I'm tuned in here. I have it. I'll pop it in when it happens. Like I said, I don't want to stream the whole Sports Center here today on here, but
No,
I'll have
understood.
my. But so I think a lot of people think like this is going to happen at 10:01, but we'll get on that. We have.
Do you know who the outfitter is for the
Well, so we have Under Armour hats. That's kind of always been because The Rock has the Project Rock and all that. The assumption is Under Armour, in some regard, is going to be involved in
in the uniforms?
the uniforms. That way, does that make sense from what you know with manufacturing and everything?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these football uniforms are made at the same place. There's a place called Rip On Athletic in Berlin, Wisconsin, and so they're actually the ones that create the uniforms and then the jock tags are put on for Reebok or Nike or whoever. So I think the quality would be the same. They're probably using the same materials basically as a lot of the pro leagues or college teams, and they're being cut and sewed and put together out in Wisconsin. And then, that's a white label brand. So they're the ones that create a lot of the NBA uniforms too. So I don't think the quality will slide at all. If Under Armour wants to make a statement about performance, they can. If they want to say, oh, this is wicking or all that, those Nike hyperboles that they create and these side stories they develop, I think that would be fine too. And I guess the helmet manufacturer, I would assume it's either Rydell or Schutt might be the guys that do the helmets, right? Because there's really only a few people touching that industry with all the lawsuits and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure the quality will be there, and I'm just curious to see if they follow the basics of a good uniform, big numbers, if stripes are horizontal or vertical down the jersey, do they go nicely down the pants? Sometimes those mistakes that you see other teams make, that I think the Titans and some of those teams over time, stuff doesn't match, or the Bills for a while didn't have matching side stripes. So, those are those little triggers that a designer like me sees and says, that's send it back to the shop. That doesn't look right. So I'm curious. From what you showed me, I think the stuff looks really great. It looks like they're already experimenting with some stuff, and I'll be curious to see then how they extend it. So if they've got the helmet and the logo, and then they've got striping on the sleeves or whatever, then how does that relate to the end zone? What are they going to do with the team word mark? The Bengals have the great end zones now with the striping and all that. That's again a place where they can take the opportunity to extend their brand right onto what we call the stage. In the NBA, it was the court, but we still call that our stage. And in football, the gridiron is still the stage, right? So that's how you can make additional impressions with your brand on the field. So I'm curious to see what they'll do with that as well. And, if The Rock will have XFL at the center of all these fields, sometimes it's tough to have a new sod or whatever, done, or sport turf. So if they have to do some shortcuts, how they'll do that. I know, as a big sports fan that you are, like what they're starting to do with just artificial intelligence, putting things down in a field that's not there, right? So maybe they'll do some of that, the first down marker and all the things that the NFL does. And I'm seeing it done more like in the NBA, even they got the shot clock at the jump circle. That's really not there. So some of that would be smart too. And they can do some, maybe even make some money with sponsored by, the first down marker sponsored by whoever, so we'll see. I'm curious to see how they are able to extend not just the football uniform, but then the brand that they've created at all the touch points as well.
Yeah, so we're talking Aaron Judge contract right now. I got it up on here. So like I said, we'll have you set on here. Still getting questions there. We're going to be able to watch. We're talking Max had a comment. It's possible because there's been lots, even when they put the season tickets for sale, like are they putting the XFL in the, midfield or whatever? I don't know. I see that. I think the picture showed that in the center, and then I would like to have the team names on the sides. I think that feels a little bit more, but I think even in the USFL, they just did the USFL, but of course they were playing in protected stadium, kind of all on that. I will say when it comes to the actual jerseys, I liked when 2020, where they had the replica ones like I have now, and then they had the higher end, like they called them, the game official or whatever ones. Like, I like that. I thought that was a big swing for a first year. Like normally I would think, like USFL will probably do that moving forward. They just have the replica of it. I like that for like the super fan that wants to spend, the $90 or whatever gets you the replica, and then 200 gets you the good one. I like that. We'll see. Hopefully that's a big swing. I will say most people were not impressed with the quality of the USFL jersey. So hopefully the XFL, like this one breathed a little more. It had, I don't even know what all this goes into. It had more.
Which one is that? What team?
Oh, this was the Dragons one.
Yeah.
But it had more of the air holes and all that stuff. That the USFL ones was more just like the screen print. Like I don't know if it's sublimated. I don't even know if that's the right word that I have on that. So
more. Yeah, it's funny. I'm using my my Barcelona Dragons jersey that I have from the 90s. And I was even trying to figure out who did it. And I was like, oh, Logo 7. I don't even know if you ever remember the brand Logo 7. But the quality of these things for a replica is amazing. It's a nice open air mesh, and these things hold up forever. I love the silk screen on the sleeves. Those are kind of some of the details I'll look to see if they use as well. Some sleeve trim, especially for the skilled position players, the receivers and the quarterbacks, to have a little bit more love on the sleeves because they don't get held like the linemen. The linemen basically wear tank tops now, right? So they don't get held on the line or whatever. But I agree with you. It's nice to have a tier of quality. We used to call it in the NBA the good, better, best. So the best was the authentic NBA uniform. The middle was the swingman uniform, which is like $129. And the money we made was the replica. That's where all the money was made. That kids are still wearing today. All of the replica jerseys that from the 90s are still so popular. And that's where the money was made. Champion made a boatload of money doing those replica jerseys. And that was always the reason it would take so long to design a uniform, in fact, because the replicas had to be ready in time for the launch of the new uniform. To do 24 uniforms for NBA players takes no time, but to do 20,000 replicas overseas, ship them back to the United States and have them at retail when the jersey launches, that's why there's such a long lead time. So sometimes people are like, why does it take so long to get these jerseys to market? And it's like, well, they have to wait because they make a boatload of money on folks like us who buy this stuff. And if a uniform launches and you can't buy the replica, it's really frustrating for fans, right? So it's just like, oh, come on. So yeah, there's a little bit of a methodology behind all that, and more you see how that's handled because people want to spend money. So I think it's I'll be curious to see what the XFL does with the replica jerseys compared to the game jersey. Very, very, very exciting, and I think they've done it right. I know St. Louis right is back as one of the teams, and they had a big fan following in St. Louis. I was curious to see there's 3 teams in Texas now, which is kind of an interesting. We know they love their football in Texas. It's like having a lot of hockey teams in Canada, right? Like you probably are making a good move to have, as many teams that you can have in a country that love the sport. So the same thing that goes for the state of Texas. So it's interesting. I've always thought that San Antonio should have a football team. I know that's why that big Alamo Dome was originally built, where the Spurs played for a long time. They thought by building that 65,000 seat arena in San Antonio, they were going to get an NFL team, and it fell through. So the Spurs used to play with a big curtain on one side of the. I don't know if you remember that, Mark, but it's just like this enormous with these ugly graphics on it, and you'd go in there and it was like, I have a nice seat up here. Is that a basketball court down there? Yeah. So it's it'll be interesting to see how the teams they're playing. A couple are playing in the Seahawks are playing. The Sea Dragons are playing in the Seahawks.
Playing the Lumen. Yeah, we did good because they do we have the Sounders play there, so they just don't open the upper bowl. Like it's pretty standard. Like during the playoffs, like when they were in the I don't really watch soccer, but when they were in the MLS Cup or whatever, they'll open up the top, but otherwise it's good. It's hard, right? Because here, in 2020 they were at MetLife and all that, and you have these cavernous holes. Guys, we're talking Joe Burrow right now and Aaron Judge's whatever. So I'll keep everyone apprised. Nothing right now. We're talking. I guess the Browns are taking on the Bengals this weekend. So Deshaun Watson did not look good in his premiere. So that was yeah, Philip, we're getting there. We're nothing like an extra 20 minutes here for XFL fans. We're well priced. Tom, your thoughts on that? Because you don't follow this, the sports market, but the XFL 2023, right? As diehard as maybe the people on here. When you hear we're doing 3 teams in Texas, we're not in LA, we're not in New York. We're trying to get into Vegas. We don't have a stadium there yet, but we're working on it. Like thoughts that they're not hitting either coast in the major markets that way, just as someone that works in the sports business.
The NBA really grew rapidly when they decided not to go to a second team in Chicago. They went to some smaller markets. I mean, like they went to Utah. There was never a team in Salt Lake City. Huge success, right? The Jazz have been successful for 30 years. David focused on San Antonio. The Spurs was a smaller marketplace, even though they were ABA team. He decided to put a team there. Sacramento never had a professional team. So I think if you could find these A- markets and be successful, I think, you can build a fan base faster. And if your number that you want to hit per fan is 30,000 instead of 60,000 fans per game to return a profit, why not? When we first started the WNBA, we were in the same situation where we were playing in a lot of the major, NBA arenas. And the thought was to just, again, close off the top of the second tier of a lot of the stadiums in the WNBA. And that's that works. I think hit some of these smaller markets. Vegas is not a small market, right? And so that's going to be a big success, even though they don't have their own building. um, you know New York, there's so much competition there, right? For sports money. So maybe it's good to do that. The Bears here, they have such a, we're here in Chicago, it's such a loyal following. The Blitz did okay here when they were here. The Chicago Fire did okay when they were here, but they just never, those leagues never made it, so when you're going up against the big dogs, it's pretty tough. Oh, it looks like you're on the retail site, huh?
Well, it looks like you can sign up. I'm gonna so you can sign up right now for your team. So I'm gonna do Seattle. I'm gonna do email, and uh, everyone knows my email, I guess. So
This is a great way to get
but
more.
guys, if you go onto the shop right now, it's going to notify. I don't know though if it's going to be today or not. So we'll see. But guys, if you go to the XFL shop right now, you're able to select. Obviously, it's not showing that. It's kind of the old merch, but you are able to pick your team. So if you're, the Renegades or the Battlehawks, whatever, email when available. So Tom, you like this? You think this is a good way? Because they probably, my feeling is these aren't going to be available for purchase today, but at least they can gauge maybe demand. What do you think about this?
Yeah, they're on the fly building their database. I mean, it's brilliant, right? So instead of just clicking it and getting your thing, and they'll probably upsell you. So when they finally get the jerseys, oh, by the way, when you're buying the jersey, get the cap, and maybe we'll give you 20% off or whatever. But I think it's a brilliant thing to do because they're building their database on the fly, and they're going to know what teams are trending, heavier users versus, I would assume, like St. Louis will probably get a good bang again, right? Because they were very popular in the first go around a couple years ago. And I think it's smart. I think it's a smart move. It's a little frustrating for a customer who wants to put on the jersey tomorrow, right? Or on Friday, so ship it overnight, and I have my Guardians jersey on. But at the end of the day, I think it's probably really a smart move.
I think, well, I would I would like to have these out by Christmas. I don't know now, December 7th. We were talking, they had the Sea Dragons event over the weekend. We were talking and they said that you make sure you get your orders in, right? Because of, shipping and with everything and weather and getting there for traffic. But would like to have these before Christmas. That would be a good gift. It says on here 100% polyester, moisture management fabric to help you stay dry, comfortable at your best. This is what we're doing right now. Short sleeve, embroidered, appliques or reinforced decorative stitching, hand wash, officially licensed by the XFL. Anything stand out? Is that pretty standard affair?
That sounds like a swingman jersey, the NBA version of the swingman jersey. That doesn't sound like the game worn, but it doesn't sound like the cheap replica either. It sounds like that mid tier. Does it say what price they would charge? Is like $130? 100?
The price is not on here yet. If we
Not
go
yet.
back, so if we shop by team, I wonder if they have them on
The individual team pages?
Yeah, no, they just have
No, not yet.
some of this stuff. Does this all vibe with you? Like we're selling
It looks like the
flip-flops
Vancouver.
now?
It looks like the Vancouver Canucks old like Darth Vader jersey. This one here with the V.
Do you like the Vipers, Brandon?
It's interesting. It's so different than what they had before, right? The colors are so different. The red and the black. I mean, I don't know. It's I get it because it's probably the playing cards, right? Like that's the tie in Vegas, right? Like the red and the black diamond.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Is it coming?
Well, it's coming up next year.
Oh, here you go.
Coming up. Look good, feel good. Those are the new ones. That's it. There you go. That was your here. I'm going to get out of here. That was your look on there. Can we go back here? Let's go back here real quick. There you go. What do we think? Well, I'm sure they'll go more in detail here when we come back, but that's your look. Dragons, very orange. Yeah. Can I get that bigger on there? Dragons, very orange. Defenders, red, very Brahma. What do you think? Wow. Okay, so we've got, I can't even go left to right here. So Sea Dragons here on the left, Defenders there. That's the Battlehawks. That's got to be the Vipers. That's the Guardians. That's the Brahmas. That's the Roughnecks. They've got that white top, and then that's the Renegades. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like what I expected. It looks like they've got some pretty, over the top colors. The neon for the Guardians is interesting. They haven't changed the Defenders much, right? That looks very similar to what they had.
Looks very similar. The Brahmas, I don't know about this muted gray and yellow on there. I hate the Guardians one. Holy God, that is scary. I like the Roughnecks. That hat, it's like the working man hat you see with the helmet
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's a cool piece on that.
It looks like a polo helmet. Let's see. The light blue one is the Arlington team?
The light blue on the far right would be the Renegades. Yeah.
Renegades. Yeah, okay. I'm surprised that they did go away from the Oilers look altogether, right? And because they
Well,
kind of had the Oilers look in the 2 years ago, right? They had the red, the powder blue, red, and a little bit of black. Now they've just dumped the red altogether, but it's not in that identity, I guess. So that's why they did it. Um, yeah, the one color that really, what do you think? What do you think of this like whole color rush thing? Like, so when you see the neon green Guardians look, that's almost like color rush, right? Like,
oh, sorry. Let me mute that. There we go.
there's 5 of them that are just same jersey and pant color, right?
I don't like that. And guys, I have it up here. I'll be able to switch to it when we go live. I was just pulling up a new tab for that. So we'll keep it on here for a minute just so we can analyze. I don't love God, I don't know. That orange is really bright for the Dragons. Really, really bright. I know what you're saying, that all, top to bottom on that. I don't know. Houston, they think Harrison says, what the WTF did they do to Houston? That might be my favorite just because it's different. I like that one a lot. What do you think of the Houston one with like the polo helmet, like you said?
Yeah, I mean it is different. That shoulder insert's really huge, and they've got a two. Is that a gradation in the number, or is that like you said there was one that
Yeah.
had like the camo? Maybe that's the camo down the side of the pants as well.
Oh, that might be my favorite one. Harrison doesn't like that. He always said Renegades look great. I'm sure they'll do more in depth here. And guys, keep us up on the
There's something in the Renegade's shoulder too. There's something up by his neck. It's like some weird. Is that a secondary logo? I see. I don't know.
It could be. We need the closer look, guys. I have it up. We'll pull it up when it gets back on here. But this is a good first look. I was able to pull up here.
The helmet on the far left one, it looks like it's like a metallic. That's really nice.
The Dragons one, the Sea Dragons, very shiny on that.
Yeah.
The helmet was the big drawing point of the Dragons brand before.
It looks like a bright metallic, almost like car paint colored orange, right? Like it's got. I love when teams do that when they have the kind of the metallic flecking in there because it just makes the helmet pop more. I hate when they do the chrome because when you're taking a picture of it, you just see yourself in it. Like the Christmas ornament helmets that were real popular for like 2 years. I thought those were just ridiculous because it was like you couldn't, you would just see like the stadium in the helmet. You couldn't see like the logo because it was so reflective. It's like when you're trying to take a picture of like the NBA trophy, like you just get all the reflections because it was so shiny in the trophy.
All right, it says here we got 30 seconds coming up. I'll pop it back on here. We'll get the audio. They're going to do it. So we'll do that. Lots of comments. The Orlando one, Zach feels bad. I'll tell you this, the Guardians one, that is a scary, scary uniform there, I think. But that's just me.
Neon green, man, it's tough. No one gets it right. It never works.
All right, let's see if we can share this. And here we go.
We'll find out soon.
More commercials. They lied to us. Well, we'll get it on here. They lied to us. Coming up in a minute. Tom, has this been exciting to you so far? Is this everything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nothing like seeing a new league launch. I mean, even though it's not a new league, it feels brand new almost, right? You've got some DNA from the previous designs, but you've got some stuff that looks pretty darn new. And from first blush, it doesn't look like they've done anything like catastrophic, except for maybe the Guardians. That one might, you might have some issues there. Neon green market, that's tough, man. Does anybody ever do that right?
All right, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
With kickoff set for February 18th. The league is being run by an ownership group headed up by co-owners Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia. There's going to be 8 teams located in Arlington, Texas, Houston, San Antonio, Washington, D.C., Orlando, Seattle, St. Louis, and Las Vegas. Now, training camps are set to start just 1 month in Arlington. That'll be the hub. Today, the league announced it has partnered with Under Armour.
Under Armour, there you go. That's official. Yeah.
And
Well,
unveiled their
expected.
new uniforms for the 2023 season.
I'm sure we're going to get a little.
The XFL is back in February 2023 with a brand new identity and look. For the 8 teams, each has a dynamic logo and distinct team identity that aligns with its community's culture. The Lone Star State will be home to the Arlington Renegades, Houston Roughnecks, and the new franchise, San Antonio.
I like that trim on there. That's hot.
Will embrace the vaquero history with a cracked horn texture featured.
I love
throughout.
that. Love
Now
that.
these are the DC Defenders and newly formed Orlando Guardians. The forest green with hyper green
Hate that.
gives a vibrancy to the paradise of Orlando. Returning franchises, Seattle Sea Dragons and St. Louis Battlehawks
don't love that.
will be proudly repping their cities with fresh new logos for the relentless fan bases. Last but certainly not least are the Vegas Vikings.
Like that font.
The third new team of the XFL will rep a powerful red-fanged V logo and snakeskin pattern for the lively city. Tune in on February 18, 2023 on ESPN, ABC, and FX to see these threads in action.
You know what they say, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. So happy to be joined by
No, I don't want to hear from. We'll listen to Beck later. We're going to go back and do all this stuff because I don't want to get sued for streaming the Sports Center right here. So let's go back. Okay, what was the most exciting for you here? We'll pause as we go through. Anything that stood out to you right away there, Tom?
I thought that the Brahmas are doing cool stuff. The colors are different. Some of that trim is really interesting. This helmet was curious to me. It's like a cracked, like a pavement or something. I liked this more when I saw it from one side, but the double split, I'm not too crazy about that helmet anymore.
All right, so there's the Renegades on there. Yeah, clearly the Under Armour branding on there.
Yeah. I like the inline on the numbers, and I think that still reads from a distance. The black center stripe on the helmet's kind of enormous. It's almost like takes up too much real estate for me. Do not like this thing on the shoulders. I don't know what you think, but it looks like it's just forced there. It doesn't really have a purpose in the design. What do you think, Mark, on the shoulders? It's kind of.
Oh, I'm sorry. Max is texting me. I guess they are showing away uniforms.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me get up here to this. I don't see. Max, where did that photo come from? Max is texting me. I don't know where that photo came from on here. Let me go back to this. All right. I love the Brahmas. All right, here we go. Let's get back caught up here. I like the crack. I like some of the little oh, Max is telling me where it came from. There we go. This is wonderful podcasting. All right, let's start with Orlando. There we go.
There's a lot wrong with that.
Well, what's wrong with this? What stands out to you on this?
It's just that the colors are so bright, and some of these things just seem so forced. Like the striping in the helmet looks like a caution sign or caution tape or something. I don't know. I guess maybe that's supposed to represent the lines in the Guardians' mane or something, the Deco logo. I don't know. It just, I like the silhouette. I like what they've done with the sleeves and the inset and the numbers on the gray, but the color combination is just so whacked. It looks like a 90s, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air thing. I'm just not seeing it. I like the Orlando font there, subtle, but what do you think? It's just weird.
I like the font. So yeah, we have the Under Armour branding. I never get the fascination with the stripes on the helmets. I never think that looks good. But I mean, that's the NFL. They all do that too on that. Very plain on this. There's no logo at all on the uniform. We just have the numbers on the sides. Yeah. I guess it's kind of maybe on the side there. It's supposed to be. Can you see my mouse cursor? Like, I don't know if that's supposed to be kind of the Guardians overlay on that. And then obviously you have on the helmet there. But
it seems like almost neon color. At least the mask should have been neon green too, right? Like, because you've got this hot color going through it, and then they've got this dull gray 70s, mask. I've never been a big fan of really a grass green uniform because it doesn't stand out well in a field. Like if you're watching a game, like when the Jets go to their all green color rush, you kind of hard time seeing them. It's like when Boise State does their blue on blue. The team kind of disappears. It's nice to have contrast on the field. So I don't know. This one just, anytime I see neon green, I just cringe. It just doesn't seem to work for me. That's maybe I'm old fashioned, but that's me.
All right, we're looking on here.
The font is great, right? The
I,
Viper font.
yeah, I'm trying to pull up. I'm being told that if you go to, this is the problem when we try to do this live. Oh, here we go. So they're showing. I want like photos there. They're showing all
Yeah,
these.
like this. It's the fang of the E. That's cool. The tips, like the font. I think the font's even better than the logo. I think there's something they did with this font that's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, let's get back here. So we talked Guardians. The Brahmas one I like a lot. I like this the trim on there. It's the like ornate pattern, right? Feels
Yeah.
very southern. What is the correct term for that?
The trim?
Yeah, but that kind of pattern they have on there. It's like feels like kind of like New Mexico, kind of southern.
Fiesta kind of trim.
Yeah.
Right? Aztec trim, maybe.
Kind of. Yeah, you got the horns on the helmet. I like that. I think that's
color.
cool.
What color would you call this? Is this like I don't even know how to describe that color right off the top of my head. Is that like an anthracite gray or something?
I thought they were more.
Is it brownish?
I thought they were more black and yellow. I thought they wanted to be like the Steelers for Heinz because this is the team that Heinz is doing.
Yeah, I can't. It's almost like the numbers have like a black outline, and then this is like a deep gray, like a charcoal gray or something. The Philadelphia Soul team we designed had this color, this gray, but we called it charcoal gray. That was the term we used. It's interesting. The helmet's definitely interesting. It does a little bit of what the Seattle Seahawks helmet used to do. The old, Steve Largent helmet, where the thing would come from the back and go to the front.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a nice touch.
So let's get
this one got wacky on me. I liked it from the side angle, and then when they put this black on the other side, it looks like I don't know.
I think it's cool. I think it looks totally different. Like you said, all right, we can go through one by one here. Renegades, love the font on here. I love the color on the front. But if you notice, none of these jerseys have the logos on them. They're all, which I don't get. I think the Dragons one had it on the side. We'll get in on that, but weird there. I like the numbers, the red outline on that's interesting. Do you think that's going to be hard to read on TV though? That dark number.
No, because you've got such great you won't see the red a lot on TV, but it's there, and it looks like a black number on a light blue uniform, so that'll pop. Yeah, the black center core, if they would have done something inside there, I would have liked it a lot more, or put the red striping from the numbers into the helmet, but I don't think there's any red on the helmet, and that seems to be a disconnect to the jersey, which has just a touch of. You see any red on that helmet, Mark? I don't see any, so it's weird. I don't know.
I don't. It's odd. I love this Roughnecks one. I absolutely love like the two-tone helmet, the split. Like I love everything about that. If you look though too, it's got it has a different X on the front where that has the XFL. This has the XFL. That's got.
Is the mask got two colors too? Does the mask have two colors, like a red to the left?
Yeah. This is red. That's blue, white. This is cool. I like this a lot. I think that's a really neat one. That's probably my favorite. But again, none of these have
logos.
None of these. Do you think that's odd?
It's weird. Yeah. I mean, I think that if you're branding yourself, it's nice to have your logo on the thing that people are going to wear instead of the helmet, right? Like people don't walk around with the Renegades helmet, but they will walk around with the jersey. So to have the logo represented on there as a brand extension, I think especially in elite startup league like this, I think that's a miss. I think you should have it on there somewhere. I agree with you 1,000%.
All right. So they kind of branded those as the Texas ones. Okay. We moved through that. So San Antonio, we saw that. You like the font on there. That's good.
Yeah. Everything's working there. Don't you think? I like this. I like the cover of if you look at the neckline, it's like a crossover. It's not just like a straight V-neck, but it's got like a crossover. That's really nice. I like that. That's like a handsome touch. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. I think the Brahmas really. I don't know. I would have done a darker color, but it's fine. It works. The numbers are great. The numbers pop. I like that. Like you said, whatever that texture is on there, it's like
some modeling in there. Yeah, like a building or something. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, guys, give your comments on here. What do you think? We got XFL trying to smash the USFL.
There's a
Always,
there's a Brahmas Lone Star Brahmas hockey team in Texas. I hope that they.
well,
Yeah, I
the
know.
XFL wouldn't be.
Yeah, I know. They better be careful. The red one here looks like a college football uniform to me. The Defenders, it looks like Wisconsin or something. I don't get any creative vibe of that at all. I don't know.
I didn't like the Defenders one back in 2020 either. That was a pretty bland one on that.
Yeah.
I think you have the numbers, the stripes on the side there. Of course, they're going to have the 23 on all these. I didn't love that XFL 2020 had the, the 20 on every single one, but I guess it is what it is. 23 isn't necessarily an appealing number, I don't think, to have on the jersey, but that's
it's I do like one thing about the Guardians number font. It's unique. It looks a little bit like what the Sharks did this year with their number font, the NHL Sharks. I like it looks like it's not something that's just some, stock number. It looks like they spent time designing the number font from 0 through 9, and I always appreciate that. That's unique to them,
So they're saying, this keeps showing they're saying logos on the back of the jerseys. We'll have to go look on the team ones. And if that's the case, if that's the little tiny one on there, we'll just finish with the front here. Then we'll go to the team stuff. I don't know. I don't love it is very orange, Seattle. That is very orange.
Yes, it's very orange. And the orange doesn't really match the helmet close enough to me. It's like, if you're going to do this almost like copper orange, then don't make it like Dayglow orange on the jersey. Those colors don't really sync up right now. Now, they might still be working on that a little bit more, but those colors don't match, and that always bothers me. It looks like it's a different orange. It almost looks like a copper helmet. The number is not very special either, especially when you have its name like the Dragons. We did the Swamp Dragons uniform back in the 90s, and we had some of the most fun, provocative numbered fonts ever designed, where this looks like they went to the MyFonts type font software and they just typed in, pointy number, and that's what they got. It doesn't look like they spent a lot of time on that. Where the St. Louis team, it looks like that's more of a custom number, and they've got like those little cut-ins into the numbers. I like that a lot. I don't know in the sleeves again, Mark. Is there something within the sleeves on the Sea Dragons uniform?
So the Dragons one has the S on there. So we'll get the closer ones here. We'll hop over to the social media. It seems most of them have the Defenders had the number. It seems like I didn't like that either in 2020. It wasn't like it was consistent with which, some of them would have the numbers on the sleeve. Some of them would have, because if you look on here, it looks like the Guardians one might have their logo on the side. We'll hop over to Twitter.
If you stop for a second, the team logos are on the pants.
Yes.
And you don't sell pants to fans. So that's always like, I'm like, you don't sell pants. That's not a retail item. So if you're trying to get brand awareness for your logo, that's not the place to do it.
All right, so let's hop over here. I'm hearing there's home and away on all the different stuff on here. It's so hard when all I want is photos of these. Yes. See, we have to you get what I'm saying? Do you see my struggle in life? Okay, so that's the away. That's hot. The Vipers one?
Yeah,
wow.
That's sharp. Their font is so strong. There's the logo up there.
But they all have, that's all the Project Rock one. So that doesn't have,
it's not the full color.
Yeah. That's not the Vipers one. They all have the Project Rock on it.
Oh, okay.
So for the Brahmas, that's great because that's their logo basically, but not for all the other ones.
Nice big numbers, right? Nice big contrasting numbers. So check that one off the list. If they win there, that's great. I can see that number from a mile away, which is good. And the helmet matches. It looks like they do these goddamn videos and you can't even, please just stop for a second, right?
All I want is just a photo.
Give me the Illustrator files,
like you said, logo on the pant. That's a good look at the front.
Yeah.
The trim on the back, trim on the pant. Yeah, see, they don't even show the back of here. See, they all have that Project Rock.
Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. Yeah, so that's a throwaway to me. That's not branding your team. And if the logos are on the pants, then you don't have the primary logo on the jersey anywhere.
Yeah, Vipers does not. Like I said, the Dragons one has it on there. Yeah, strong font on the Vipers. I think this is one of the least defensive ones. I think this is pretty successful. Really big, huge name font. You know, the
It
Viper is
really
like
is.
enormous.
It's a giganto. It's almost like too big, but it's okay because you're building your brand. So you can always make it smaller if you're successful 3 years from now, you know. Get it out there. I like it. I like what they did with the font.
Let's go look over here. Let's go look at the Sea Dragons now, because that is the one I will be wearing. That is the most important one. Yeah, they all have these videos. Like you said, I would have just
These hype videos, you just want to say, okay, that's fine for a hype. Now let's see the real uniform, right?
Yeah.
This has got a little bit of Miami, right? The Hurricanes thing going on here a little bit, the green and the orange. I get a little bit of that vibe, just a little bit. I guess anything that's green and orange is going to be Miami Hurricanes looking, but it's such a unique color.
Okay, we have. Oh, here we go. You're going to be happy now, Tom.
All right.
We are happy. Here we go, baby. We're getting the.
There we go. Actual like photos.
Here we go.
Actual photos.
Oh, we don't want quarterback.
There you go.
Here we go.
Is this their media site?
Yeah, this is their media site.
Whoa.
So, all right. So, is this where we're going to? Okay, we're just going to go through order here. There we go. Thank God. Okay, this is all I wanted for an hour.
Yay.
Okay. Oh, you see, we have fonts on the inside: blood, sweat, respect. We'll have to see if that's on all of them.
Oh,
yeah, this is really bright. People say, "Oh my eyes," Mac tonight. Oh my eyes. Invert of the home one where you have red, red, blue, and then white on that. The stripes on there. I like at least the stripe that mimics their logo, right? Where you have the R with the.
They're so close to like North Carolina Tar Heels look, and they just blew it. They just dropped the ball. It doesn't. The pants maybe could have been light blue with some kind of nice pattern and like the old Oilers, And then this thing is just. It's so soft. It's not very masculine or football-y, and I don't know if that's even right politically to say anymore, but it just looks very, baby boy kind of thing. Not a tough-looking uniform to me at all. And all the lines, like it was okay when they had the inline on the one uniform. Now you got inlines on top of inlines.
The number at least feels different. Like you said, it's kind of cut and paste with the Dragons one on there.
Yeah,
but
it reminds me like of a maze where you kind of go through the maze, the thing, and you got to go through there. It just, this one, I think they tried too hard and they just came up a little short. I would love to have seen light blue pants instead of white pants, but that's just me. So the helmet's going to be the same, right? The same. They're not going to have two different helmets, right?
Presumably not. Jenna says, I don't like the way Jenna, this is your team. This is your team. Arlington Renegades. Jenna's big time Renegades fan. I think that's a coffin in the morning emoji there. Jenna is not a fan.
Wow. Ouch. I didn't mind it. Yeah. I didn't mind it.
Do they come with footies? I have gotten a couple comments here. They look like look like pajamas.
They do. Yeah.
So that's the home. I think that feels more
that's so
like the Renegades back in 2020.
So much better. The baby blue, it's like, one of the most popular baseball uniforms are the blue, the powder blue jerseys from some of the teams. And this fits, this, I with some light blue like spikes, I think that'll be killer. I love that.
Noah, these are on the these are on the XFL press site. It's xfl.photoshelter.com. And Zach was asking, Zach, if you go onto the shop, you can not pre-order, but put your spot in to get a spot on there. So Renegades, all right. Defenders. Okay, we're getting a little more detail on the sleeve there. They got the start. So they all say blood, sweat, respect on the inside. I wasn't going to be sure if that was just a Renegades thing or that. This feels like the Renegades back in 2020. What do you think of this one?
I think it's just, go Wisconsin. It just feels like the Badgers or the Indiana Hoosiers. It's just, I wish they would have had navy blue in here, just like the Capitals or the Wizards. Like just some other color. That's just me. It's just a little bit too much red and not enough anything else.
I like that. It feels like we have a couple different textures going on here where this is coming up. you know, kind of this, I don't know the words with that. And I'm not sure. The thing with this too, is it's going to be, you know, these are the real ones. I don't know, when we do the replicas, do we cheap out? And is this all just like a screen print, the same, you know, are we doing all this work when it comes to like the individual ones? But I like this. I like the, you know, the extra like care, I guess, for that.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of like I said, if you're going to, you know, relaunch and come up with something that's provocative, this wouldn't be that for me. That's just me.
Wow, I really wishing someone else bought the XFL. Wow, there was no one else that wanted to buy it. So they don't have, oh, here we go. So we'll skip one because they don't have them in order. I like this a lot. You have the camo on the sleeve. This is way better.
Way better. Way better. I wonder if that even camo extends into the side of the pants. I can't really see the side of the pants.
Yeah, it looks just like red.
Oh, just red. Yeah.
From what I can tell on here, yeah, people, this looks good. This is,
and the helmet had this, right? The helmet had that texture.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I don't know.
You put
I don't know.
You get what I mean? Like overlay a little camo on that. I love this. This is a very successful jersey.
So much better than the dark jersey. It's weird. Normally that's not the case, and this one fine. It does look like Wisconsin, but it doesn't. They did something else to it, and they put this camo print on there. And in the word defender, you think of military, right? So I sometimes camo stuff is so gratuitous to me and so pandering. But if your name is Defenders, it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah, we got John Lewis, big fan of the Defenders. So this is the Battlehawks home, right? Yeah. Because then, they didn't put any of these in order. This is like,
of course not, right?
Okay, Battlehawks, blood, sweat, respect on that. This is very plain.
Gosh, you know, the only place I ever like to see gray is on a baseball field. I've just never been a big fan of gray for a hockey team or gray for a football team. It's just so dull. It's so penitentiary. It doesn't. Like, football should be so bright, and I'm going to kick your butt, you know. And this is just like, oh, you know, so stock. I don't know. I like the number. I think that's cool with little cuts in there, but that's about it. When your best part of your uniform is your number, I don't know.
Is this none of these are in order? Okay, so that is the away. So that's the home jersey, flip flops. So they don't even have a white away, or it's a gray away jersey. I mean, is that normal? I thought it was kind of like white was always the away jersey.
Yeah, typically it is. But they could bend the rules because it's their league, so they can take some risk there. But this wouldn't have been the color I would have done it in, and I don't know what the other color, you know, I would have done it in. But just gray just goes flat for me. That's just one personal little picky thing. Memphis State in 2000.
Yeah, it is like the Detroit Lions. It's very tiny. Battlehawks. It's like it's very tiny. Like what is this team? It's very like I got a squint on there. Vipers is about size 200 font, and this is about size 18 font in Photoshop.
Yeah, there looks like a legal line on the front of it. I absolutely detest the Detroit Lions gray uniform, so at least I'm consistent in my opinions of things. I just like somebody call Barry Sanders' outfitter and just go to that, you know, color or that Hawaiian blue and stop screwing around with gray. And oh dear God, it's a damn sin.
Let's see here. Oh, and like on this one, you can see the rock stitching on behind it. That's kind of I don't, but that's fine. And people are going to be wearing it. I think this is great. I love everything about the Roughnecks. Yeah. Everything about it. This is so hot.
Look at the side pant trim.
God, this is so cool. I think this is the Roughnecks is my favorite brand by far.
Yeah, this one is the best one for me too. And look at the logos are on the sleeves.
Logos on the sleeve. Yeah, because then do that. Put the numbers on top, the logos on the sleeve. You have the best of all worlds.
And call it a day. Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool. The two-tone, I love it. It is weird though that it's the only one that has the gradients, right? I mean, this has like the inlays. I love this. I love everything about this.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, the gradients don't fit because the helmet's this flat color, right?
So yeah, we'll have to look. I think they have photos of the quarterbacks. We'll look here because why would you put the helmet in here with everything else?
Yeah, of course. The roughneck font is nice too in the front. That's the right size for a name on the front of a jersey, right? Like that's the appropriate size to me. Like not too big, not just like the porridge. You know, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Baby Bear. Like that's the right size if you're going to put a name on the front, that's the right size.
Yeah.
Not too big, not too small.
God, I love this. I think this is so cool. Less offensive than the home jersey is the Guardians away jersey.
So much nicer. So much nicer. If they didn't have the neon trim on the pants and made it dark blue or dark green, that would have been great. This reminds me a little bit of the Eagles, Jaworski's years, like Ron Jaworski and some of those guys. They had the dark green and the gray. This is handsome to me. When you kill the neon, it makes it a completely much better uniform for me personally.
I remember, and we'll get to the home where. Let's just see.
I wish the gray was silver, like metallic silver, instead of dull gray again. That would be so much nicer. This is just crazy. I don't know.
This seems less bright than they had on the stage there at Sports Center, but I thought maybe they had some detail here. No, it's just the stripe on.
It's just an inset, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The text here is fine. This is very boring, even as bright as it is.
There's something that doesn't match for me. I don't know. And it would have been nice if these would have been silver pants. Then you would have killed some of the green. It's just, I don't know. Just.
What is it with them just wanting to, like, Florida? We have to, because the Vipers one in 2020 was horrible too. Like, what is it with we hate the Florida XFL team?
Something about Orlando and Disney. They just got to be goofy. There's something about it. No pun intended. Like, there's just. It's got to appeal to like 6-year-olds. I don't get it. It's just like, goodness gracious, you know. If I'm a football player, I'm like, Jesus Christ, these colors, guys. Do we really have to wear this? You know, it's just. It all started right with the Orlando Thunder, right back many years ago, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they have like a really whacked color, right?
John says Orlando Thunder vibes. Yeah, you called it just right there.
Yeah, yeah, and that wasn't very good then, and still not good now. But sometimes you got to keep beating your horse. You know, maybe eventually somebody will like it.
Texas Pete's happy. Texas Pete, Texas Pete won our Doug Flutie BC Lions giveaway jersey. That should be in the mail. I mailed that, I think, over the weekend. So should be coming. So I did like a sign for delivery because I was like, that's a very valuable. It's a custom made Doug Flutie BC Lions jersey.
Wow.
This is cool.
Yes.
I guess I like it non-black because then it's different. This kind of stands out. We got the trim, like around the neck on there. What thoughts on this one?
You know, I'm gonna, this is hopefully this is why I've been at this for a long time. There's a nice look at the subtlety in the number. I know you'll pick it up, but you see it how there's yellow on the bottom and then it starts to gradiate to a different color in the 2 and the 3.
I like that.
That's cool, right? It's like different. Yeah. It's almost like a little bit what the Suns have done with some of the Valley uniforms, but I like how that gradation stops and then goes into a different color without being the number. Like this one's the full number. Like that's, dark to light. This is more subtle, and subtleties work for me. I like that a lot.
Okay, what about this though? So, okay, we got look at the names: Battlehawks, Defenders, Roughnecks. Okay, so that's you're right. Guardians, but then we have Houston. Oh, that's the away. Okay, I'm not crazy on that. But why does it say, okay, so then Brahmas is on, is that their home jersey? And then it says.
It's funny. It's not consistent, is it? Because Vipers have Vipers and Vipers, but they don't have Vegas, right? It's not Vegas and Vipers. It's that's not consistent. Good catch.
Well, but it's because I was like, oh, it's an away thing. So the away has the name, and then the home has, I think that's what it is. I think the away has the team name.
Yeah.
And then that is so weird. I do think that's what it is. So whatever this is supposed to be the home one because it has the
city name, right?
Yeah. So this must be the home one for the San Antonio, and then that is very yellow.
Wow, that's a cool uniform.
You like this?
Love it, yeah. Because it's just bright and bold, and it's yellow looks great on broadcast and great on a green field. So I think that'll pop. I wish they had another color in the number. It's just a black number on it. This would be nice if it was like the Hornets or the Bumblebees, right? Like the black, the striping. It's kind of nice. And you're right. It's a Hines Ward's team, right? So is that the Hines Ward?
Yeah.
So that's it.
And this has the numbers up top, and then the
logo in the sleeve. Yeah.
I don't know why you don't just do that for all of them. It's
All of them.
so because see, like this. I mean, I get like this one. You have the.
It's
I
it's
never
in-
get that.
It's interesting on this one how the neckline cuts across on the Brahmas, but it doesn't on this one. See, the neckline is different at the point of the center.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't cross over there. That's weird.
because you pointed out that you like that because it was a unique.
Very unique. Yeah. We did that with the Knicks many years ago, and the players even said they liked it. They thought it was like something different, and they, Mason and some of those guys liked it a lot. So it's interesting what they react to.
So that's weird. Okay, so this is
Oof.
horrible.
Jesus, they came up short here. They made the navy the dominant color, huh? Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is I do not like this at all.
No, this didn't go well.
It's so oh man.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen this one till right now. You have a little bit of a gradient in the number, right? So it's dark, or like you said, the same with the Brahmas, where it's
that's
just
something
sort of
new that they're trying, which is cool. And there's definitely a pattern in the sleeves, right? There's like a serpentine pattern in the sleeve right?
Jenna says Jesus in the morning. Yeah, this is really bland. Yeah, I mean, in the inlay, the lines up here, yeah, it's a little bit of a serpent pattern, but God bless. I don't want to swear, but this is really bad.
Yeah, and the pants are just too bright. It's just like, I guess the pants will look nice with the helmet, though. It is nice when helmets and pants sync up. Mark, in my opinion, I always like, it just makes sense to me, because white jerseys are hard to design because you don't have enough color to play with. So it's always a challenge to do a nice white uniform. So you try to throw more on there to make it more interesting, but they didn't pull it off. They should have colored the sleeve cap where the sea dragon is, right? And put color on that instead of having it white. Maybe put the orange back in there to at least get some more color in there. But it just seems like it's like almost two different uniforms: the Sea Dragon logo and then the rest of it. They don't fit.
Yeah, it's just like they put I put the link into it. I highlighted, if you want to go xfl.photoshelter.com, I highlighted it in the chat. If you guys want to go, you can look at all this stuff. Yeah, it's like they let's drag and drop the logo on the sleeve. Like it's just so unoriginal and not inspired.
A classic plop and drop, right? Like
plop and drop, baby. I like this. Vipers, this is hot.
I think it's great. I think they did a really great job with it. It's funny because the thing with the Vipers for me is like they don't say Vegas anywhere though. That was the one thing that caught me. Like Vegas would be a big selling point to me, but it's Vipers on the home and on the road, right?
Yeah, it is Vipers on the Tom, maybe because they're not going to be playing in Vegas. I don't know.
That would be a big clue right there, right?
That would be a clue. Anyone taking bets on when we get the Vegas stadium announcement?
Yeah. Maybe they're holding out for that. Say until you build us a stadium, we're not going to put Vegas on their jerseys. I'm lying, of course, but there's definitely interesting trim in there, right? Isn't there some? That's that kind of like modeling. What is it, like a diamond, or is it
it's
just
like a snake?
Demo?
It's like a snake. It's snake scales.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love the font. The font's way too big, but I love the treatment of it. It's very, very it fits Vipers perfectly. That's a nice look. It's handsome, clean, white. It's fine.
Looks good. I think that is successful. Battlehawks, like you said, what is that with the numbers that the custom
stencil? Sometimes they call it as a graphic designer stencil font because it looks like somebody took when you put a stencil down and paint it, you can pull it back, you still have the lines in there. So I think that's called a stencil font. I've never seen a stencil like block sport font, so that's different. Usually it's for like military, right? Like you see the stencils for military boxes and all that. So it's kind of drab, blue on blue. But I think they had success with that, right? So maybe they were like, hey, our fans seem to like this. Let's stick with this.
Yeah, I don't, and this is in the logo and everything too. I don't like the treatment of the St. Louis. I know they want the arch in there with the T, but I don't. I haven't liked that since they've done that. You see how they kind of have that little.
It's too forced. Yeah, it's too obvious, right? So,
Okay, so then these are both horrible. I hate the dragon stuff.
yeah, this looks like it's just, I don't know, bad Miami Hurricanes practice wear or something. It doesn't even. Yeah, those colors are hard together. Orange and green together are hard. You got to really know what you're doing.
I can tell you, I am predicting my friends. We have season tickets. I am predicting that they will not like these jerseys. I'm just predicting that Michael and Paul will not like these jerseys. It's so boring too because you don't get the numbers on the sleeves. It's the drag and drop with the logo. I think they're in love with this. The line, I can't even, the sea serpent, whatever thing, but it doesn't really pop at all.
No, you can't see it, so it's kind of a wasted effort. And it looks like they ordered it out of like the Under Armour stock football uniform for high school. That's what it looks like to me. Here's our number font, plop, okay, chosen. Here's the Seattle chosen. There's nothing real distinct about it, and I think that's why it suffers so much. I mean, a dragon there should be a lot of shit going on. Excuse me. A lot of crazy stuff going on there, right? Like a dragon is very mythical and it's got all these, and it's just kind of very somber. I don't know.
I was texting Michael. He was watching it. He had sent me a photo of us doing this thing here. So we'll see if he texts me back if he likes this or not. I love this. This feels like any given Sunday, the bad team, like that we got to fight in the championship game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't like the big font on this, but the number, like everything about this works for me. I love
it.
It
looks like a sports car. That's why I like it. Like
a Viper.
Yeah,
like a Viper sports car.
Like a muscle car, right? Yeah, I do like that about it. One thing that they could have done that maybe as the designer, I'm kind of like too close to this sometimes, but the V in the neck would have been kind of cool if it goes larger to smaller to the point. That would have been really nice. If you took the V from the pants and put it in the neckline, that would have been really cool too,
Oh, you mean, yeah, that would have
been
been,
that would have been cool, right? Like really to pay it off. It's also, they have the logos on the side, right? But that could have been a uniform, like almost like Michigan with that shape. If the V just started in the front, went backwards, like, so the Viper comes to a point in the front and just make it like a super graphic, like the Brahmas. That would have been kind of cool. So, but not complaining. That's still a great uniform.
Yeah, John says, yeah, we're kind of been going through them here. That's the Battlehawks one, and then their away one. Some of these, there's a lot more to say on than others. Let's get through here to Mike. Mike Mitchell texting me. Mike, you should just hop on the show. Mike Mitchell's texting thoughts here. Our XFL. I like the lines here as well. I think that'll play more. I saw the player photos we're going to pull up here in a minute. Yeah, Corey agrees with you. Missed opportunity to put the V on the neck. I thought that would have been pretty cool to do that.
Yeah. It would have been a tricky thing to do, but it would have made a lot of sense.
Tim Capper checking in from the Alouettes flight deck. Tim likes the Seattle one. I have to wear it, Tim. You don't have to wear it. I have to. Is that it for? I guess that's it for those. Let's go back here real quick. I don't know how long Tom has for the world today, but
yeah, I could be on for another 20 minutes or so. No problem.
Perfect. I think that'll be good. This might give us a little bit more. We get to see our some of the quarterbacks in the photos.
I think that looks great. I hate the black shoulders a little bit. I don't know why that's there. It looks like a seatbelt, but that's just.
It does. It looks like, especially when you're holding. It's like I'm got my jetpack on.
Backpack.
Backpack.
Yeah, I just don't think it's extraneous. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's tied to the stroke in the logo. There's that cross stroke.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But it does look weird, especially when you hold. We got a little action one.
Yeah. It's a nice uniform. The color's great. I like this one a lot. It's just.
Yeah, getting a lot of the helmets we don't have any photos of the helmets. We can go back, like, guys, when you do this stuff, like, talk to people about what we need to talk about ahead of time. Like these, the photos, this is great. Now we need the helmets. We need everything together on here. Even the stock photos, we don't have the backs together. We need all that stuff.
Front, back, and side, right?
Front, back, side, helmet. Like, I don't even care about the pants. I mean, show me the
No,
pants, that's fine, but
yeah.
yeah. You
Yeah,
got
I'm
the
starting
red
to
trim on there. Did we notice
yeah,
that? The red
yeah,
trim on
there it
there?
is. Yeah, this is I would say this is definitely passable. It doesn't offend me. I hate the black stripes again, but that's just it just seems like they forced it on there.
All right.
This is really college to me.
This feels very yeah. This we're I hated the DC Defenders ones in 2020, so
Okay.
I hate this one as well.
Yeah, it's not. It's just it could have been so much more. I think that's how I would like to say it. Like, keep going now. That's a good start. Now starting to put some interesting stuff on there, which they did on the white uniform. So yeah.
Of course, but then we don't get the quarterback. James says none of the Glens are horrendous.
It's like the 49ers from a distance. I don't know.
All right, I guess we got helmets here. We'll get to that in a second. I think they're on Twitter, but of course they're not in. Oh, this is just a joyful photo. I mean, some of these guys, like, hang this photo in the Louvre. We have Brandon Silvers, my XFL Seattle Dragons quarterback. I have his signature back here. This might be my favorite photo I've ever seen in my life. This is absolutely fantastic. I love everything about this photo.
Yeah, this works. I mean, they did it. They nailed it. I really like it a lot. It comes in with something different from the shoulders. You don't see much, and I think that's good.
I'm gonna download this. Like, this is seriously, I love Brandon so much. He had got a hell of a time back in 2020, but this is a pretty exciting thing we
You
have
made
going
one
on.
good point about the Houston being too small, but that's a small nitpick, right? It's could be a little bigger.
Yeah, they're just not consistent. Like,
No, that's right. It's all they should all be like, 36-point font.
yeah,
Like,
I
raised
don't.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. I really love the Roughnecks one.
Yeah. I think it's my favorite one. I think it works
Yeah.
the best. You know.
That looks good.
And
Same
they
on
get both
that.
the numbers and the logos on that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
see,
This is going backwards for me. Every time I see it, I get madder. This takes the biggest L for me of all. It's just Jesus Christ. It's like, ay.
Haley checking in with full graphics. Yeah, we'll get all that, but this is the fun part when we're like, what the hell did they do? What is going on?
You know, the fact that we didn't have explanations makes this so much more interesting because
I love it.
I don't want to be told what to think. I'm just going to react to it, and that's great. I don't need a story. I don't need some long-winded Nike, and when the man invented the wheel, then it's like, no, I don't need that. Just let me look at the uniform and see if I respond to it well.
Yeah, we'll get to the Roughnecks here on that. This is good. I just can't get over that. I can't get over Brandon Silvers on here. Yeah, I don't know. Orlando's, you can look tough. Hard to look tough in this logo, I tell you that.
Yeah, and hard to see number 23 on the side. You won't see that from the stands. No way. There's no contrast there. That should have been dark green, not neon.
Zach, we're getting there. We're getting there. That's a good photo. I like that. He's looking tough in that one. I like this. This is successful to me.
Yeah, this is like mid to me. It works. It's fine. I like the neckline a lot. I think that was cool to experiment with.
What do you think?
A little. It's not black and it's not gray. It's like putty. I don't.
What do you think about the neck getting the treatment and then just like yellows, like the yellow lines?
Way too big.
Yeah,
it's
huge.
Yeah. It's like crime tape. It's just too big. Yeah.
That's good photos. Okay, now, and this is exciting because Ben DiNucci is going to be joining us on the show on Friday. I got to record that here in a little bit, so this is presumably one of our quarterbacks. This looks better on here.
It does look better on here. Yeah, it's better. I wish you could see that pattern better. I wish that would be more visible because if you're going to do it, do it. Trying to be subtle with a dragon doesn't make any sense. Everything I know about dragons, which is not much, is like they're not subtle.
But these are the sea dragons, so maybe a sea dragon is more subtle. Yeah. The sleeves on this. Oh. Like, and for being one of the only ones that even has, I will tell you, of all the logos that came out, the Sea Dragons, yeah, we got a lot of Broncos vibes here. The Sea Dragon, the logo was probably the least well received of all the new logos, just because I think people really like the one from 2020, and it kind of looks just like it looks like a lesser version of it. It looks like Trogdor. I don't know if you watch Homestar Runner at all. There's a lot of Homestar Runner. I've been pushing that, but to have one of the least well received logos then be like the primary selling point of this jersey is yeah.
Why did they go away from that other logo, Marcus? Was it too similar? Wasn't there like a Shreveport dragon?
Yeah, and the even the University of Alabama in
Oh,
the
yes,
protected
yes.
stadium, that
Yeah.
even like where the USFL played looked like that.
Yeah. This is close to Miami, but not as nice as the Hurricanes. It's just not working for me.
Yeah, all right. And then there we go. Montez looking good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, James says he knew the logo, so it looked great. Yeah, I mean they look better than just laying flat, but there's just not a lot to get excited about for this one. I mean, this is it's just like you said, it's mid. Yeah, burning 18.
It was 52 degrees before. It's 54 degrees now. It didn't get much hotter.
Wow. All right. Here we go. That's a good one. It's fine. It's pretty
It
safe.
reminds me a little bit of the Colts, but that's okay. Colts have a classic uniform, the blue and the stripes, and there's a lot going on. Like there's an extra color. There's like an extra fabric next to the white in the shoulders. I don't even know what that is. It's kind of shiny. I don't. There's no pattern in there.
You mean this over here?
Yeah, an inset.
Yeah.
It's just like a shiny, or I don't know, whatever.
Vipers. Love this. Love this.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean the numbers. If it pops, I think it pops. I think. Oh yeah, we got Perez in here too. There you go. QB1, Luis Perez. He looks tough. Good for him.
Yeah, this would have looked cool with the V-neck being the Viper logo. That would have been different, but that's okay. Next time.
All right, and I think we'll get you out of here, but I think we're gonna have. Is it on the website now? Press release? No,
did the uniform show up on the e-commerce sites?
No. Max was saying that there's that you can look at the helmets on. No, that's not. No. We need the photos. We have the press release. I'm so frustrated.
It would have been nice to have guys in their full uniforms, wouldn't it? Head to toe.
No, they just have, again, you can just sign up. Share this. You can just sign up again for that.
Yeah. Uniforms are not ready yet. Okay. Yeah. And price point's not there. Okay.
No price.
Which says to me they're a little behind. Because if you don't even have the price yet, when can you start taking pre-orders,
Yeah, guys, put your comments in the chat. Which ones you think are best, worst here as we get out of here. We'll do a couple more comments here, and then we'll let Tom go. Quick reminders, recording with Ben DiNucci today. That'll be on Friday's show. I think there's more XFL news coming this week. I had my interview with Kevin Seifert yesterday, ESPN. Guy follows all this stuff, the big, basically any major, news that comes out XFL related. Kevin's all over that. I think we're going to have some other exciting stuff to talk about. Kevin and I already recorded that. And then going to have CFL stuff as well coming up on Friday. But yeah, DiNucci, Kevin Seifert, and then Andy Murray, who would have been on this stream if it wasn't, Andy's working. We will do probably a ranking of all this stuff and then the other news that's coming out this week. So I don't think this is it for the XFL news this week. So that will be exciting. Anything else? Any other comments? I mean, the helmet thing, I just don't want to keep hammering down on that. I don't want to keep scrubbing through videos for that. Am I doing anything else wrong that we should be doing with that?
I think you've done a great job covering a lot in a small amount of time.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we have on here, they're showing I don't know. I just don't want to scrub through this stuff for hours to kind of get.
The helmet's interest. That might be the most interesting treatment on a helmet with that metallic color. But that doesn't get carried into the uniform. So it's just a disconnect. It's so weird how you're trying to scrub through these and see what's on there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, News Hub shared, that's kind of the best look we had at all of them. None of them look that exciting to me. I mean, the Vipers have the V on there. I don't know. None of them look that crazy. I think the Guardians might have a little bit of a logo on there.
Yeah.
I mean, people are screenshotting then.
I think Houston was the best uniform, right? If you were going to go 1 to 8, I think that, right? The which team was it? That we
The
like
Roughnecks. Yeah.
Roughnecks,
The Roughnecks by far number one, Roughnecks.
right?
And I love the away one too. Like I love both of these.
Yeah,
I think this is the best of any of them.
Win-win. Yeah, it's win-win
Win-win.
all the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Houston Vipers, and then worst one for you today. Who would you say?
You know, it's weird, and you're going to probably be like, seems like I think it's the DC one, because not because it's bad, it's just they didn't try hard enough. And that always irritates me. I like the white one, but it's just so plain. It just could have been so much more of the potential of it. And Orlando bothers me just because I've just got an anti, neon green everything when it comes to sports uniforms. And so those would be the bottom two, I think. How about yourself?
Yeah, Orlando's rough. I would say Houston by far mile number one.
Yes.
I would put Vipers number
two.
Yeah. I would put Brahmas number 3. I think that's a good. I think really that's a good look.
Solid effort. Yep. I've Renegades, maybe not this one, but the other one I think is maybe 4 for me. The light blue uniform. This is like real low.
Yeah, I know. It's like, do you rank them though? Is it a combined score, both the away and the home jersey, or do we?
No, I don't, on this one I wouldn't do it because the away jersey is so bad. It would really pull down the curve for the home. So I don't know. I don't want to not like this, but they did so much with the away uniform and they did nothing with the home uniform. And I don't know. It just seems really old fashioned to me. And this is a new league,
Yeah, this is, I think, like I said, about the best look we get at
the Sea Dragons is about the third worst, right? Like that should be better, right?
Yeah, Dragons is really low. Dragons is really low.
Yeah.
Vipers, yeah. All right. Well, I think we did God's work today. Still getting, Jenna's still trying to get, we're up next to you. Well, you got your 2021. If you don't like that, it's fine. It feels similar. It feels in similar vein of that. And it should be good. Well, Tom, thanks for hopping on. Anything else you want to plug, share, anything before we get you out of here?
No, in my latest project, we're working with the U.S. Polo Association. So we're working on a brand that I've never touched before. So imagine going from some of the more big athletic sports in the world of competitive athletics to polo. It's been a blast so far to be able to brand it. We're branding their facility down in Wellington, Florida, but they're letting us take a look at everything from soup to nuts. So we just started on it, but it's fun after all these years to look at a new property and say, how can we do this different? And so that's our big project right now.
Well, Tom, I appreciate it. And Tom is with, I want to get the name right. Game Plan Creative.
Yeah. And we also have another site called the Sports Design Agency. So you can see a lot of my NBA work there. And I love this business and you're doing a great job. I really commend all the effort if you put into this and you know your stuff. So it's fun to talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about.
Well, it's always hard. The live streams are always a little crazy. We have the same thing with the logos and trying to get. So I think we figured everything out. I think we got through it.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're gonna have a big show Friday, same as always, 7 a.m. Pacific. Kevin Seifert, Ben DiNucci. I think Jamie Nye is coming on with CFL, and I talked with Wesley Sutton as well. He's playing for the Alouettes now. He was with the New York Guardians back in 2020, and we talked about his transition up to the CFL and his thoughts about all these alternative leagues. So it should be a big show Friday, kind of back on the horse here after we've done a bunch of live streams. I think we got 4 or 5 guests coming up. So
I'll make sure to tune in.
Well, thank you, Tom, again. Appreciate it, guys. Like and subscribe. Andy will be with me. I think more XFL news this week, so stay tuned for that. I'll go tweet some stuff out right now. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Tom. I'm going to play the outro music, and then I'll pop us off here, and then we can talk on the other side before we get out of here. So thank you guys again. And we'll see you next time.